Hello and welcome to YHELP Talks with Taylor. Today we are with Miss Tamara Carter, a jail therapist, talking to us about choices. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell us about yourself and your background.
Sure. Well, I am a licensed professional counselor. I've been working with youth, adults, and families for probably about 20 years now. I have a master's degree in counseling and an undergraduate degree in criminal justice. And I've spent most of my career either working with at-risk youth and their families or providing counseling services to people who need them.
What made you choose this profession?
Well, I think since I was little, like really little, like 5, I knew I wanted to help people. I just didn't know in what field. So I thought about being a lawyer. I thought about being a doctor. And when I got to high school, I had the opportunity to take a psychology course, and I fell in love with psychology. And I knew that's kind of what I wanted to pursue. So I went to college and started taking a lot of courses in that. And even though I got a degree in justice because I was still contemplating law school at that point, I decided not to go that route and to go back to school and get a graduate degree in counseling. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
How important is it right now to make the right choices throughout life?
I think it's important to make the best choices that you possibly can every day, all day. The reason why is because choices can have short-term and long-term repercussions. The consequences can be things that you're not even thinking about, things that you're not paying attention to or that you're not expecting. So making the proper choice, really taking time to think about things before you act is a life skill. It's not just something you can just pick up and do. You have to practice it. So you have to start as early as possible. Young ladies like yourself should be already well into that process of learning how to make those choices. It's critical.
What should you do if you make the wrong decision on something important?
Well, I think depending on what it is, sometimes you can undo a decision. Sometimes you can go back and do something differently. But in those situations where you can't, the biggest thing is just to own your choice. If you decided that you were going to do something, if you made an informed decision to do something, knowing it was the wrong choice or realizing after the fact it was the wrong choice, you have to own it at that point. Accept that this has happened and move forward, figuring out what your next steps are going to be, how you're going to change whatever the path is that this choice has put you on, if that's what you need to do, or riding out the consequences until you get to the next opportunity to make a different choice.
Why do you think it's hard for teens to make decisions?
Okay. Well, Taylor, you probably know this already about me. I'm a nerd, so I have to answer this question with science. So, biologically speaking, the teenage brain is not as capable yet of seeing long-term and figuring out things long-term. So biologically, you're already at a deficit. Biologically, there is something that actually makes it harder for people to see the bigger picture. So I think that plays a lot into why people have difficulty making choices, particularly in your age group. But I also think a lot of it has to do with just all the pressure you're under. The reality is being a teenager is hard. It really is. There's a lot going on. There are a lot of people in your influence, in your circle of influence. There are, all these social media things that I know I didn't have to deal with growing up. So all of that additional pressure, including the pressure that you put on yourself to try to do the right thing, to try to be perfect, to try to fit in, all of that makes it really hard to figure out what the right thing to do is 100% of the time. And so I think it's an unrealistic expectation to think that teens in particular are going to always make the right choices. But I think that understanding why sometimes they go left when they know they should go right, you have to look at everything, the environmental stressors that they have, the internal pressure, all of that makes a huge difference.
What should you do if your friends are making bad choices and want you to join?
Well, again, that pressure to want to be liked, to want to fit in where your friends are fitting in, to do what your friends do is huge. And I'm not going to sit here and minimize that and act like it doesn't matter, because it does. But I think that at the end of the day, even as a young person, even as a teenager, you start to figure out pretty early on who you are and what you're about. And I think as you get older, it's very important that you stay true to that. because that's what's going to carry you through. That's going to be the thing that allows you to make the proper decisions for the big ticket items that are going to shape the rest of your life. So I think when you know and you feel intuitively that something is wrong, then you don't do it. I don't care who it is that's influencing you to do otherwise. I know that's a difficult thing, but being true to yourself is more important than being liked. Being true to yourself is more important than doing what everyone else is doing, because being true to yourself is going to allow you to get to the place in life where you're supposed to go.
Hey, don't click out the video yet. Did you like, comment, and subscribe? And also, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YHELPNow. And don't forget to check out my blogs at YHELPNow.com. See you later. Bye.